sound too chirpy.
I'm ready.
What?
I'm ready.
Did you say we're live? Hey, we're live. Hey, Al, we're live.
Are we live?
We're live.
Okay, Chris. Didn't know we were live. Welcome everybody to another show of Don't Get Us Started. This is a show where Chris and I talk about a little bit about everything that you talk about at the bars, you talk about it at your dinner table, you talk on the phone with your friends about, and hopefully people out there can relate to this. So this week's subject is, what are we talking about tonight, Chris?
We're talking about the gay community, transgender, and are they born that way, as opposed to a lot of people's belief that it's their choice. And so it's born that way versus is it their choice?
Well, I think it's anybody who thinks that somebody makes a choice to be gay or not is they're not informed.
What do you say to them?
What do I say to them? I say, well, you need to talk to some people that are gay, the gay lesbian community. You need to get to know some of those people. You need to listen to people who you see on TV talking about when they were young, they always felt like they were different. You hear about men that said, when I was 5 years old, I didn't want to play with all the toys that my brothers or my friends that were boys played with. I wanted to, play with different things. You'll always hear they say, I always felt like I was different. They didn't make a choice at 5 years old. Or, you think about when you're in elementary school, I'm coming from a guy's point of view, and you see some girl in the class and, you think she's cute. I didn't make a choice when I was, 12 years old saying, I want to be attracted to that girl over there, or do I want to be attracted to the boys? I don't know. Let me see. I got to make a choice here. You have a natural desire to, you're naturally attracted to either the opposite sex or the same sex. How do you make that choice? I mean, look at what the people in the gay community, the things they have had to go through. Ridiculed, gay bashing and all that. And they want to make a choice over that. They have to go through that because this is just who they are. I mean, look at.
Well, I like your philosophy that you brought up when we were talking about this earlier about if the country, the world, but let's just say the United States, how you say like, oh, if the government and our society tomorrow says, wait a minute, we made a big mistake here, and men are supposed to be with men and women are supposed to be with women, about that. Would all the men say, oh, okay, I'm just going to start, dating men? And the women, oh, I'm going to start dating women. No, they're not. The straight people will not say, no, I'm not dating a man. I'm not dating a woman, right?
Well, I brought that up when we were talking about this the other day. I brought that up in the whole biblical sense, saying that, if you take somebody, because I know someone who's a minister who said, oh, no, it's a choice they make. And I said, well, let's say all of a sudden the Bible was, we found these scriptures in the Bible. Oh, my God, we have it all wrong. Men are supposed to be with men. All of those people that are very religious, follow the Bible and say, well, the Bible says men are supposed to be with men. Are you telling me that all of you men out there that are so religious could say, oh, well, because the Bible says that, I'm going to now be attracted to men? You can't make yourself be attracted to a certain sex. That is a natural desire that we're born with. You know, that, like I said, when you're young, when you're going through puberty, when you're a teenager, you're not sitting there and going, well, I think I'll try to go out with girls for a while, and then I'll go out with guys for a while, and I'll see which one I like the best. You know, you're either heterosexual or you're gay. It's simple as that. You know, I saw something one time on something I was watching on a documentary, and there was a doctor on there, and the doctor said, most people don't realize how many babies are actually born with both sexes, and the parent has to make a choice of which sex that baby is going to be. And so, you know, it might be, you know, they might decide it's going to be a girl, but they have more of the male characteristics, you know. And so when they grow up as a female, they have more of male features, you know, or you know, they might decide, you know, oh no, we want it to be a boy, but it has more of the female. I don't know if it's hormonal, I don't know what it is, but more of the female characteristics. So the boy grows up to be more feminine. You know, that's not a choice. Well, the parents made a choice, but that's not a choice.
What I have believed for my whole adult life, I've never heard any doctors or scientists say it or confirm it, but I truly believe it, that you are born that way. And something, I mean, you know, I think it's obvious if you're going to go back to Adam and Eve, okay, that God made a man and woman to go together perfectly, you know. You have sexual intercourse and you have babies, so it's, you know, it's kind of okay. That's the way it was supposed to be, but something, and this is what I truly believe, something went wrong in the womb, and it's like anything else that, you know, clashes and doesn't fit, you know, in the womb. You know, like maybe a baby is born with no arm or its heart outside of its chest. I think that when the egg and the sperm were coming together, something happened. I don't know what, but I believe it. Something happened, and you have a female brain in a male's body, or a male brain in a female body. And I truly believe it's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because like you said a few minutes ago, you know, when you hear adult gay men, I remember Oprah years ago had a whole audience full of gay men, a whole audience. And so she was talking to many of them. And every one of those gay men said, when I was a little boy, when I was like 5, 4, I didn't want to play with cars and trucks. I wanted to dress up in my mommy's clothes. When I was 6 and 7, 10, you know, and they're like, oh, look at little Susie. Ain't she pretty? I wasn't attracted to her. I was attracted to Billy. And that was at a very young age. Before you can comprehend what it's all about, these men all said it happened at a very young age. And to me, it's like, you know, I had sons, but I never told my sons, here, play with this car, play with these trucks, play with these, you know, these video games. No, they did it automatically. And when I had my granddaughter live with me for a while, and her brother, and they would play in the living room, and she would have all her little girl stuff, and he would have his little army men and trucks and motorcycles, and he'd be like, here, Lily, you know, you want to push this car across the road, across the living room? She would push it, and then she would just leave it, and she'd go right back to her stuff, her dolls. And she didn't want to play with them. She didn't want to play with his toys.
No,
she wanted to play with her dolls. And nobody was telling her to do that. Nobody was forcing, or her brother, nobody was forcing him to play with his little boy toys. That's what they were interested in. Right. That's what they were, you know, she loved to put makeup on. She loved to, put it on her brother. She loved to go on videos and look at all the little makeup stuff. It was all about girls, and like nobody forced it.
Well, and I think this is the way it is. It's like people, I guess, men have certain characteristics and women have certain characteristics. Why is it that women love soft colors and flowers? I don't think it's men that say, "Oh, I don't like flowers because that's a girl thing." I think it's a natural thing that women like beautiful flowers in the home, or they like.
Well, you and I talked about that. You and I talked about that. Like you said, you just don't want a bouquet of flowers. You don't hate flowers, but you don't want a bouquet of flowers on your dining room table, or which I do. Why is that? Why don't you want a bouquet of flowers?
It's not.
That's the way
I think,
men and women are.
I think flowers are pretty, but if I'm going to decorate my home, it doesn't come to mind to put flowers, to put a floral print, wallpaper up, to put nice, like soft pink curtains up. I'm going to have something more neutral or something a darker brown colors. It's not because I love that nice pink color, that nice pink floral design, but I don't want to have it because I'm a guy. It's just that I'm not attracted to it. So why is that? I mean, why do men and women have these certain things that they're drawn to? Because that's the way the mind works. That's the way the male mind works as opposed to the female mind.
Right, but a gay man, you find that he does like the flowers. He does like.
Well, sure. Many of your florists are gay.
He does. He likes the flowers. He likes the pretty flowered wallpaper, curtains, whatever, because in his mind, he's a female. He's a female.
He has female. He has female traits. Sure. I mean, I just don't see how somebody can think that people choose to be this way. It would be just like somebody telling me, "Okay, Alan, you could choose whether you want to be a certain, you can make that choice for a month. You're gonna.
Well,
you're
now
gonna be,
wait a minute. You do have that sweet voice. I don't know.
Well, I know, but it'd be like somebody telling me, "Okay, for a month, you go and you be with men, and for the next month, you be with women, and then you pick which one you like the most." I haven't the slightest desire to be with a man because that's not it's not in my mind. It's not in my genetics, my hormonal whatever. It's just not right. So I don't know. I don't understand, and it brings me to sort of along the same subjects. Is I'd like to know what it is with people out there. I guess it's just hateful people. I'd like to know what it is about people that'll sit there and they'll say, "I don't want that gay couple living next to me," or "I don't want that gay couple living in this neighborhood." Why are people have so much anger and what are they doing? They're not hurting anybody. They're living their lives like you and I live their lives.
You're telling these people who they can love, who they can marry, who they can spend the rest of their lives with. It's seriously, it's unbelievable that our government, our society says you can't love that person. You can't marry that person. And they can't bring anything up other than what the Bible does say.
Mm-hmm.
And it does say man shall not sleep with man. It does say, and I just learned this not too long ago, that it's an abomination, God says. But, he talks more about, loving and forgiving and not judging. And let's go with the 10 Commandments. Do not steal, do not lie.
He didn't put it in the 10 Commandments, did
No,
he?
he didn't find it.
Nobody talks about that neighbor over there who lies, who lied to me the other day, or lies once in a while. I don't want him in my neighborhood or her in my neighborhood because they lie.
And they don't even know why. I don't
No,
think
they don't know
most
why.
people even know why. You know what I think with a lot of people? They feel safe because you know what? I will never be gay. So therefore, I can judge. I can tell them they're going to hell. How about the people that say, you're gay, you're going to hell? Really?
Right.
Really? Because I don't know anywhere in the Bible that it says a gay person is going to hell any more than anybody else.
Well, I
seriously,
mean,
we're all
like I
sinners.
said,
And if gay is sin, then we're all sinners.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like I said, it says it's an abomination, but like I said, God didn't put it in the 10 Commandments, and if we all sin, we sin every single day. We're
He didn't put it in the 10
sinners.
Commandments. He also didn't talk much about it throughout the whole Bible. If you go to the New Testament, what it talks about again is love, forgiveness, turn the other cheek, don't be judgmental. That's what it talks about over and over again. Not about, if you're gay.
These people that sit there and say, oh, these gay people are going straight to hell. I don't think, if you're going to sit there and quote the Bible and be all higher than mighty, I don't think it's then you ought to know well enough, that it's not your place to make that judgment that they're going to hell.
No, it isn't. But again, they feel safe.
You're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite. You're taking the place of God to make you're going to make the decision for him. Well, you might have just lied yesterday. Are you going to hell because you lied? That's one of the 10 Commandments. Did you honor thy mother and father? How many people out there, don't get along with their parents, but then they sit there and every 15 minutes quote some Bible scripture.
Right.
But they don't,
Well, that's one of the 10 Commandments. Honor thy father.
But when their mother or their father is sick,
they forget that.
They're nowhere. They're nowhere to be found when their mother or father needs their help.
Right.
But they'll sit there and judge somebody for being gay and tell them they're going straight to hell. Well, you know what? One of those 10 Commandments is honor thy mother and father. So you might want to think about that, or you might want to think about that when you lie. Things like that. The people are some people are just so hateful. And like I said, what are these people? What are they doing to you? Well, they lead lives just like you and I. They go to work every day. They come home. They work on their house. They work in the yard. They go shopping. They do laundry. They have friends over. They go out to dinner. They pay their bills. They pay their taxes. They lead a life just like you and I do. It's just that, they prefer to be with someone of the same sex. And here's another one. I always love this one. I love when you hear about these people, these parents that say, well, there's a new teacher, Mr. Smith, and found out he was gay, and I don't want him teaching my kids.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, the whole time when I was in school, elementary school, intermediate school, high school, college, all that, I never had one teacher talk, up there talking about their sex life. So these people that are so hateful and prejudiced, what makes you think because somebody's gay, because somebody is gay, they're going to get up in that classroom and talk about their sex life? What you need to worry about is when you see all these teachers, when Mr. Smith, when they go home and find all this child pornography, that Mr. Smith is a heterosexual, and he's got all this child pornography on his computer at home, or Mr. Smith, who's a heterosexual, is caught, molesting some child. I don't remember hearing a story.
Or Mr. Smith has his eye on your 10-year-old.
Exactly. And I don't remember hearing stories of some teacher who was gay molesting a child.
I don't know.
I don't know. No, but you know what? It's no different than that heterosexual teacher.
Right.
That's not called because you're gay. If you're gay and if you're a gay man and you molest a young boy, it's not because you're gay. It's because you're a pedophile. It's because that person's a pedophile.
What is the heterosexual that molested a little boy.
That's called a pedophile.
Right.
So you can't worry.
Right.
You can't worry about whether the person's gay or not. Is the teacher going to stand up there and start talking about his private life?
No.
How and try to influence? These people think that because you're gay or something, you're going to try to influence your lifestyle onto these people. That's ridiculous. I mean, I've been like I said, I've had clients for years, all of that many of them who were gay couples. They come into our business, and you know what? They're great people. I've known some of them for years. Some of them have been together for 25, 30 years. I don't think anything about it. I don't think anything about it. They're not out there saying, oh, hey, by the way, I realize that you're a heterosexual, but, we're having a party and maybe we can turn you the other way.
Right.
No, they go through life and talk to me and I talk to them just like I talk to everybody else, and they talk to me just like everybody else. It's like people are scared of anybody that's any different than they are. That everybody's scared of people that don't want to believe in what they believe.
I don't know if they're scared. Well, some of them are scared, like, oh, that gay might rub off on me or my child. But I think some of them are just, so many people go by the Bible. I can think of two handfuls of people in my life that would only vote for a president if he said he was against gay people. They didn't care about any of his policies, what would affect them and their taxes and their life. Oh, well, he's against gay people. Although no president on either side, I was thinking of abortion. There's another one, like, oh, if he's against abortion, I'm going to vote for him. Although 1972, abortion became legal, and no president has changed that. And so, but they like to run on that. And, oh, I don't like, gay marriage. Oh, I'm going to vote for him.
Well, meanwhile,
and they don't know anything about what they're talking about.
Well, and meanwhile, that person.
Why don't you want this man to be with another man that he's in love with, that he wants to marry, that he wants to adopt children with? Why don't you want them together? I don't understand that. Why?
Well, and meanwhile, that
wouldn't it be? Wait a minute. Wouldn't it be like, seriously? Wouldn't it be like you had a good friend, Bob,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, Bob, your girlfriend's really ugly. I mean, she's really ugly. And I don't want you to marry her, okay, Bob? Because she's just ugly. You can't marry an ugly woman. Bob probably wouldn't be your friend anymore. And so it's the same thing. I don't want you to marry this man that you're in love with.
Right.
Because it's another man. I mean, why?
Well, and
why can't he be in love with who he's in love with?
Absolutely. Well, you can't stop people from being in love with people, and it comes down to the same thing. You can't stop people from desiring, if someone is gay, you can't stop them from desiring the same sex. That's what it all comes down to. It's just in their nature, just like it's being a heterosexual. It's in my nature to be attracted to the opposite sex.
Right.
Nobody can convince me to be attracted to a man. And you can't convince somebody by saying, well, the Bible says this or that they're going, oh, it does? Oh, I'm sorry. Now my desires have suddenly changed.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. And then these people who want to, these people that when you're talking about running for office or whatever, and they're out there and saying, things about, they're against gay marriage and all this stuff. Meanwhile, they're out having an affair. Thou shalt not commit adultery. They'll go and they'll quote the Bible, and then they'll turn around and break one of the Ten Commandments. A lot of your
lawmakers do that. And we don't want to legalize gay marriage, but I'm having an affair on my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's okay.
They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites, and they just want to put a wall up and say, gay marriage is we don't want gay marriage. Why not? These people are in love with each other, and they need the same rights as two married people. It's not because they're not going to sit there and go, well, they're not allowing gay marriage, so I guess I'll become a heterosexual now.
Right.
You just deny them the rights. Somebody, like I said, I have clients that have been together for 20 years, 25 years. You know, they've been living together for 25 years, and they don't, you know, they can't have the same rights as if they were, you know, married, the same legal rights and everything else. They can't do that because they're not married. That's just wrong. That's just wrong.
We got a question. What do we think of transgender, which we were going to talk about? You know, President Trump, you know, he made all, you know, he got rid of all transgender people in our military. You know, high-ranking military men, Navy SEALs, men who have devoted their, you know, most of their life to the military, and now they can't serve. Heroes, yeah, many of them heroes. And you know, again, you know, to be a Navy SEAL, you know, I watched a program once about it. Oh my God, you know,
I did too.
You just have to be the best of the best of the best. But our president didn't think so. And you know, I say this, you know, if a man feels so strongly about his gender, and his gender in his mind is female, that he goes to the extent to have his penis cut off. Okay, we're not talking about a phase. We're not talking about, oh, maybe I'll try this, see how it works. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a man having their penis cut off, growing breasts. You know, that's
years of surgery. Yeah, years of, you know, hormonal treatments, surgery. I'm sure not pleasant surgery, things like that, because they know inside they're, you know, the men who do that, they know inside they're not really a man. They know inside they're a woman. I mean, look at Bruce Jenner. There's an example right there. Here's this man who was a gold medal Olympiad, and you know, we watched him progress, and all those years, you know, he was fighting inside that this isn't who I am. Society makes me, I'm this, you know, great sports figure, and so, you know, he had to hide those feelings all those years, and you know, because society couldn't accept him for who he was. And finally, as our society has changed some and accepted it much more, all of a sudden he's like, you know, and you know, on national television, you know, he's you know, slowly went through all the transformations into being a woman, you know. And so that's not somebody that, you know, that to go through everything these people go through to say, oh, it's just a choice I made, you know, I got tired of, you know, just being a guy. I think I'm going to spend the second half of my life just being a woman. I was kind of bored with it, you know. I just, you know, yeah, I'm just going to cut my penis off. You know, it's been there long enough, and so I'm just going to cut that off. And you know what? I don't like, you know, I always did want to have breasts because, you know, I'm the only guy on my street now that's got breasts, you know. So I mean, I just think that whole way of thinking, you know, with people, they just, I don't know if they're not informed or they're just ignorant. I don't know. I think they're ignorant.
I disagree. The Kardashians showed him the way. Kate Clintry said that. I don't know if you're joking. I don't know if he's joking, you know, about the Kardashians showing him the way. He was obviously like that when he was a young athlete, and yeah, I think he's joking. You know, he's joking. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, look what he did in the public eye.
Yeah.
You know, very public figure. And you know what he went through, and you know,
well, think about all the, you know,
you don't do that on a whim. You don't do that saying, "Oh, I think I'll try this out." You know, and men can understand it more than me. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
have your penis cut off.
You know, I don't think I've ever had the slightest. I don't think I've ever had the slightest thought of cutting my penis off.
Never ever.
No.
Not even like, oh, let me try this out.
Well, I'll try it, but I mean,
try it. What if you don't like it? No.
Yeah, is there one to get a new one? I don't know. Is there? Can they put one on? I know they can put one.
I think they can put one on. But it's not going to be yours. So there.
Well,
no,
I mean,
I'm the first one to. I see a beautiful woman, a beautiful actress, a beautiful singer. I'm the first one to like, oh my God, that woman's gorgeous. But I've never been attracted to her. I've never wanted any thought of sleeping with her. Never. No matter how gorgeous she is.
No, you can accept.
It's not there. It's just not there.
And well, I mean, I work with a lot of women in my business, and mostly all women. And when we were younger, I would joke around because I'm working around all these women, and they'd be like, I don't know what I'm going to wear tonight. And I would make jokes. I'd be like, hey, maybe I should wear a strapless or something. And and they would all laugh, and I could joke because, and then there would be people. We had a guy working there one time. He'd be like, oh my God, how can you say that? I'm like, I'm joking. I can joke because I am secure with my sexuality. I'm not scared.
A lot of men won't even say, you ask a man, you think that guy's good looking? I don't know.
Right. I don't look at men.
Well, yeah, you do. If that person's a good looking.
Right. There's men who are good looking.
If a man is good looking, it doesn't make you gay. It makes you're a human being. You think he's good looking, okay? But a lot of men, they fear that. It's like I don't know.
Right. You and I talk, and you go, you think he's good looking? I'll be like, yeah, he's a good looking guy. He's got a great body. But you know what? I
happen to know. Wait a minute. That you had a big crush on John F. Kennedy Jr. No, kidding. But no, you even said once he was a gorgeous human being.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. I mean, that's just a fact. There are beautiful, good-looking people, men, women. There are women with beautiful bodies. There are men with beautiful bodies. The human body, it can be a beautiful thing. It's not because I can say, yeah, this guy is a good-looking guy. It doesn't mean I want to be with. It's not like I'm having sexual thoughts about that guy. It's just a fact, I don't think too many people would say JFK Jr. he was really ugly. What a homely-looking guy.
Some guys would be afraid to say he was.
No, but I'm saying I think generally speaking, most people consider him an attractive man.
Right.
So that's just a fact. Don't be so scared to say it, Don't be so scared to say it. Doesn't mean you got, it's just like you were talking about. You can see a woman and say she's a beautiful woman. You're not afraid to say that because it's a fact. That person is a beautiful woman.
Well, someone a couple months ago asked me to look at this transgender woman. I guess her name is Gorgeous somebody. I forget. Gorgeous is in her name, and she is now a woman, and she is gorgeous. She is just gorgeous. And this person asked me, they're like, well, it was a man. And they're like, well, I think, this woman is very attractive. That don't make me gay or nothing, right? And see, because he was once a man, but now he's this gorgeous woman. You never know it was a man. I mean, beautiful body, beautiful face. And this person had a little bit of doubt that, I genuinely find this woman now attractive. Does that in any way, could that make me gay? See?
Uh-huh.
No, the woman is gorgeous. She's gorgeous. But
Chris Johnson says Caitlyn Jenner still has a penis. Well, Caitlyn Jenner may still have a penis, but Caitlyn Jenner, is that Bruce Jenner's new name? Caitlyn, I don't know. Is that what you teach? Okay. Well, but Caitlyn Jenner looks like a woman. put some makeup on. I don't know.
She's not a real attractive one. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah. But the thing is, are you telling me that? Yeah. I mean, maybe he or she didn't go that route, but it shows right there that, you know, Caitlyn Jenner still wants to look like a woman as much, you know, as possible. Maybe didn't want to go that route, but still want. I mean, you know, the desire is there. I mean, I don't go putting on dresses. I don't go, you know, putting on makeup. You know, but Caitlyn Jenner wants to. Why? Because it's a natural desire. It's not a choice that well, she it still has a penis. Does that consider her still a male? Can you say she?
Well,
I'm not sure.
Because
mentally, she's a she.
Because she wants to be called, I think.
Right.
Now, she has breasts.
Well, there you go. She just didn't want to go that route of whack. Because, you know, I don't know. That's pretty, I don't know.
No, I have to say, you know, from what I know about her, Caitlyn, she does not have a penis. She had the surgery to remove it. So maybe someone could fact find that for me. Hint, hint. That guy there. But yeah, I mean, I think she did remove the penis, and she had breast. You know, she has breast now, and so she could legally go into a woman's restroom, and yeah, and while she's not the most attractive woman out there, I mean, she still wanted to be a woman, and to do all that and do it in the public eye. How much do you want to be a woman that you would go through all of that, you know, right there?
One of our listeners said, my opinion is that the Kardashian clan turned him into a female, and it was publicity. Publicity? You go through all that and humiliation and being made fun of for publicity. This is Bruce Jenner, who was a Olympiad. You know,
so do you
as the macho guy would say, a man's man.
You know? Grew breasts and walks around in dresses and wigs and high heels and lost his penis and gained some breasts.
For publicity?
I'm no fan of the Kardashians at all, but I don't think they needed the publicity. They have a very successful show. They're very successful, well-known people. I'm not real sure they needed that kind of publicity to talk Bruce and them having his penis cut off.
Yeah, if Caitlyn is out there, could you fill us in on what your real feelings are on this? We'd like to know.
I'm saying she did have it cut off.
I don't know.
You know, I don't know what publicity, you know, she's looking for to go that far, to walk around, you know, pose in magazines as a woman, pose in bathing suits. And see, now that she has it cut off, she don't have to tuck it, and she can wear bathing suits and, you know, be comfortable with it. But I disagree with the publicity. No, I do think that Kim Kardashian got married for 15 minutes. You know, a big wedding, and was married 15 minutes. About 17 days. That was publicity. You know, that was definitely publicity. You know, big wedding and photographed, and then she got divorced on like 15 days. But I don't know about cutting the penis off for publicity. That's one heck of reality show.
I don't know how much. I don't know how.
Wait, if it was for publicity, why didn't they let it be filmed? Let's bring Time Magazine in, and we're going to film the whole thing and make a documentary out of Bruce's penis. Because, you know, he probably could have got a lot of money for that penis if he sold it to a guy or a woman who wanted to have one. And then they're like, I have Bruce Jenner's penis. Want to date me?
Well, I'll tell you what, you could pay me $1 cajillion, however much that is, and you're not going to cut mine off. You can say you'd be the richest man in the world. You're not cutting mine off. You're not going to, you know, So,
yeah, the richest man in the world. But see, that's what you're saying. You know, you can't do it for any amount of money, and yet these men will do it because just because. No, they're in their minds they are women.
Well, I just like to know why people are so, they have this attitude, like I said, about people, living next door and things like that, I mean, I just don't understand what threat are these people to you? What is it? You don't even know them, but you don't want any part of them. Maybe some of the people that think that way need to, get to know these people and these couples and things like that, and see that they're not really any different than you or I. They go through life just like we do. It's just that they, their partner in life and who they are attracted to is different than who I'm attracted to. I'm not going to judge them for that. I don't ask people I work with. I don't ask people that I work with about, their personal life at home.
No. And I think my opinion is to me one of the most beautiful people inside, just the most beautiful person, and is Ellen DeGeneres. You could not find a more kind, generous person that wants to help people and does help people. She's just a beautiful human being. Oh, guess what? She's gay.
Right.
What a fine example. I mean, these are just people. It's like to even really talk about it, still be talking about it in 2018, blows my mind.
Sure.
Just they're human beings, and that's it. And they love who they love, and that's it. That's all. That's it.
Right.
That's and our government needs to stay out of it, and the president needs to stay out of it. He loves who he loves. He loves all his wives and all his girlfriends and all his affairs. He chose that route. Okay. And you know what? He needs to stay out of it too. He chose his love life. They chose theirs. Stay out of it, Mr. President. Don't get me started on that.
Hey, don't get us started on that. Just stay out of people's personal lives.
That's right.
But the government,
because you know what, Mr. President? Mr. President, the only president that had an affair. The only creepy one, though, that did. But you know what else? Because it talks in the Bible about what you've done. You cheated on wife 1 with wife 2. You cheated on wife 2 with wife 3. And you cheated on wife 3 with anybody that would have you. And, it talks about that in the Bible. So what about that, Mr. President? Or what about anybody who's out there cheating on their wife? Well, that's in the Bible, too.
Right. Well, like I said, what about the people that,
maybe Bob wasn't happy in his marriage, so he had to cheat. Yeah, shut up. Don't get me started.
Right. Yep. Well, those people, like I said, they want to go back to the Bible. They want to pick and choose. Like you said, they know that they're not gay, so they know they're never going to be gay, so they can make these statements. It's like, and I'm not going to stand here and say whether I'm for or against abortions or anything, but it's like the people who are so, pro-life, and that's your choice to feel that way. But I'll never forget. But wait, huh?
No, I was going to respond to a question. No. Chris Johnson says, "What about non-gender?" I kind of think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not real sure. Non-gender?
I'm not sure.
Does that mean I'm not real sure about what they're asking. Like, they don't have they're not a male or female. I've never known anybody like that. They weren't male or female. But there are babies born with both sex, a vagina and a penis.
Right.
But I don't know if that's what he's talking about or not. And no, absolutely, Mr. Trump is not the only president that had affairs. He's the only judgmental president that's had affairs. He's the only one that says, "I'm a good guy. I haven't done all this, and I don't know. He's the only. A lot of presidents. Look at John Kennedy.
Well, we know that he hasn't lied. One of the things.
Well, yeah.
We know that he's never lied. What would they document? Something like 2,000 since he's been president. 2,000 lies, but he hasn't lied. I'm just saying, it's like people.
2,000 proven lies in the first year of his presidency that he has said 2,000, but then he just gets up there and just says it. He don't care.
Well, I'm just saying that, people pick and choose what they want to pull out of the Bible, what works for them. And I'm not putting down religion. I don't want people to think that, but I'm putting down the people that want to make all these judgments towards other people because the Bible says that. Well, the whole thing is you're no person to make any judgments on people when it comes to the Bible. Because if you're making judgments, then you're not understanding that Bible, because the Bible says that God is the only judge. He's the one who's judge. Right. So don't make your judgments. Let God decide who's going to judge. Let God decide and let him judge whether he thinks these people should go to hell or not. That's not for anybody here to decide. It's not for anybody here to make that statement. It's for you to, if you're of a specific religion, it's for you to follow it the best you can.
So
be the best person you can. K.
Clint. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. K. Clintigria, the only judgmental president. LOL. This non-biased podcast is laughable. Okay, well, you may have missed what we talk about sometimes. That we're giving our opinion. We're just, pretty much everyday people. And we give our thoughts, our opinions. It doesn't say we're right, and that's why we offer anyone's thoughts and opinions.
No, we never say we're right. We're just a couple people.
And I've never, since I've been doing this, have said that I'm not against the president. I'm very against the president. And, that's just me.
We're not going to be on here and be fake. We're not going to be on here and try to satisfy everybody.
But what I'm saying is we haven't claimed to be anything. We're just two people that hopefully are talking about what other people may be talking about. And there's a lot of talk about with the president. And, if people like him, that's fine. That's what it's all about. But
we didn't start this show to necessarily be politically correct. We didn't start this show to talk about things that would satisfy everybody. And we didn't start this show to make sure that we don't, offend someone that doesn't agree with what we have to say. We're two people that have known each other for years and talk about things. And Chris and I would sometimes say, I would challenge
anybody on that. We've had presidents that have cheated on their wives. We've had presidents that we didn't like their policy. But no, we have never had this judgmental president that puts it out there that what he likes and doesn't like, doesn't like Muslims, doesn't like certain people. No, we've never had a president that has done that. We've had cheaters. We've had liars. We've had presidents that were in, scams. But to my opinion, no, we've never had a more judgmental president. If you're too short, if you're too fat, if you're too this, you're too that. No, we've never had one like that. So I just wanted to say that. I'm not saying we've had all perfect president. Policy-wise, you could disagree with me if you don't like his policies. But, with President Obama, we had a decent man that nobody come out and said they've had an affair with him. Nobody has said that he's tried to kiss them or grope them. He loved his wife. He was a family man, and he was not judgmental. You could not like his policies. That's one thing, but he was a class act as far as a human. And I think President Bush Jr., who I did not like as president, was also a decent, good man, and loved his wife and his family. I thought he was a great man. I just didn't like his policies as president. So no, we haven't had a president like this. I just want to, go ahead.
No, I was just getting back to I don't to agree with us. That's why we started to do this podcast, because
talk to us.
Because Chris and I have talked for years about stuff. We sit around, we talk, just like people do, like I said, in the bars and with their friends at the water cooler, at the dinner table, whatever. And if you're sitting there listening to a couple of your friends talk and you got a bunch of people over, you're not going to always agree with
Momo said, big difference in the most judgmental and the only judgmental. Well, Momo, I can go back to President Reagan. And I was, a very young woman at the time. And I can go from him to now and say, yes, President Trump is the only judgmental president that we've had that, again, attacks people, calls them names, judges them on every move they make. And if they do it wrong, they're this or they're that or they're this, and they should be thrown out and they should be fired. And we've never had a president, to my knowledge, if you go back in the history books, and like I said, I can only go back in memory to President Reagan. And
well, at least we never had that I remember publicly. They did it publicly. I mean, let's be honest. A politician. Yeah, but let's be honest though.
Policy and their decision on policies, you can hate that, but we're talking about the man himself.
I know, but I'm saying, let's be honest though. A politician is a politician. Well, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm also saying we haven't had anybody that publicly says this stuff. We don't even know what some of them say behind closed doors. That's politics.
Well, and you know what? The fact that if they said these things, other presidents behind closed doors, that just showed, class and being presidential, because it's not their place to judge other people or call other people names, or if you don't like me, I'm going to get rid of you.
Right.
Or, you're there to, it's okay we disagree with what you believe in or your policies, but Trump never talks about policy. He just talks about other people and himself.
Well, the president is there to unite the country together.
Well,
that's what he's there as a leader and to unite everyone.
He's not to divide it.
And it's up to everybody's own judgment whether they think he's uniting the country or dividing the country. That's everybody can make their own opinion on that. And I realize that people, who have political opinions, like some people say, don't discuss politics or religion, because I realize that you're generally not going to convince somebody once they have a political opinion. You're not going to change their mind. You're not going to change their mind on, if Trump is a good president or not a good president, or if Obama was a good president or not a good president. But people can decide for themselves.
No, I wouldn't even want. I don't want to get into it. I'm just telling you how I feel, and I feel very strongly about it.
Oh, I'll never change.
But that doesn't mean that someone else can't think he's a great president. Of course they can.
All right, I won't change your mind on Bigfoot.
Because there is no Bigfoot, okay?
Well, there could be. Could be.
There's not.
Well,
so we got this little gorilla or big gorilla type person thing out in the wilderness for all these years, 50, 60 years. All we get is this faded out picture, and he's always walking like he's all humped over and looking toward the camera. And that's all we got, a Bigfoot. Or once in a while we'll find a Bigfoot print where someone put there. Come on. There's no Bigfoot.
No, I don't know that. I don't know that because I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one, but I do know that there have been many people that have seen things that they couldn't explain, and So I don't know. And there was a film put out. I don't know when it was put out, and I'm trying to remember it. I watched it, and now I can't remember the name of it. But it was a newer documentary done on Bigfoot. And this guy went out. He went out hundreds of miles away. He was a former sniper. He was very knowledgeable of survival and all that. He went out hundreds of miles away by himself. He filmed this stuff at nighttime. He had night vision goggles, and he's got some close-up photographs with a 50 millimeter, I think it's a 50 times zoom lens or something like that, where he has zoomed in on a couple faces of these so-called creatures and how they blended right into the
all these years though, Al, they've 60 years. I mean, I remember being a young girl and hear about Bigfoot, so 50, 60 years, and they've never reproduced. There's not like a family of them. It's just always this one Bigfoot.
No, there have been people. No, there have been people who have seen.
Wait, I don't interrupt you again, but we have Mick Calendiga. Okay, he doesn't want to talk about the president. I mean, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. That's what it's all about. Let's move on to these folks with no gender. A grown-ass man wanting to join my daughter in the woman's bathroom. Well, nobody wants to see anybody hurt. I never had a daughter, but I have a granddaughter, and if I could kill somebody that would ever hurt her. But no,
I don't really know how I feel.
No transgender man has ever been accused of hurting any girl in the bathroom. That's because they're transgender. They're not going in that woman's bathroom to hurt anybody. They're not going. They're not. That's not what they're doing. That's not what they're about. And would I allow my granddaughter, who I love like my own child, would I allow her to go in to a restroom? Well, I would go in with her anyway because she's still young. She's only 7, so I wouldn't allow her to go alone right now. But I mean, if I took her in and there was a transgender, I wouldn't think anything about it. Because he's a transgender does not mean he wants to hurt anyone's daughter or granddaughter.
Well, he's not looking at that girl. What you got to worry about is that daughter walking through the store with some pedophile who's going to snatch her up. Not the transgender who is not attracted to your daughter.
But I will say to and again, I'm probably hacking up his name. So McLean Terriga, I will say to him, that's kind of the stigma that's out there to what you just said. If he's a transgender, he's going to hurt my daughter in the bathroom. That's just not true. That's just simply, for all due respect to you, that's just not true.
It's the pedophile who's going to hurt your daughter.
It's right.
It's the pedophile. It's the pedophile man who's going to hurt your daughter, who kidnaps your daughter at the mall, or things like that. It's not whether they're gay or not. It's whether they're a pedophile. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I don't know how I feel about the whole.
You wouldn't know that transgender was a man. And how many times have we all been in the public restrooms, with a transgender person? Yeah, we don't know. And if they're out to hurt a child, they're out to hurt a child. But nothing makes them want to hurt a child because they're transgender. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, well, you've got somebody who is interested in young children.
And wait a minute. A transgender, they've changed their sex. I think they go for men now, right? Not for little girls. They are attracted to men, I think.
Well,
that's why they went through the sex change operation.
I think that we have to look at, when we talk about children, we have to look at the fact that you know, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're transgender, it comes down to, you know, because a man is gay doesn't mean that he.
John says Bigfoot is gay. That's why we don't see. That's why we don't see many. There you go.
There you go.
See?
Well, he might be.
Yeah, now I understand it. That's why we don't see Bigfoot.
No, but I was going to say, I mean, it's like there's this whole fear, like I talked about with teachers and stuff before. Because the person is gay doesn't mean that they're attracted to children. The person who's attracted to children, now there may be a gay man who is attracted to young boys. That person is a pedophile. And there are many, many heterosexual men who are pedophiles who are attracted to young girls. I don't think it's a question of, it's just that pedophile, if you're gay, is going to be attracted to the same sex.
Right.
And the heterosexual, you know, pedophile is going to be attracted to the opposite sex. I don't understand that whole process. I don't understand that whole mindset of how being a man, how you could be attracted to a 10-year-old child. I can't even wrap my head around that.
You're a pedophile. You're just a pedophile. That's who you are. But it has nothing to do with your gender. You're a pedophile.
No, it doesn't.
But I would like to ask our tech guy why I'm getting deleted messages. Can they come through and answer me? I'm getting some messages deleted. Tech guy? No, my tech guy says no, I'm not. Yes, I am. Name and then it says deleted message. Tech guy. My tech guy is getting me up to tech guy. Deleted. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, my tech guy says they're deleted. Okay, all right, that cleared that up. All right, thank you.
I didn't realize it was deleted. Now I see it's deleted.
Chris Johnson says, "What about a gay guy?" And he also about that's who I was thinking about, Gigi Gorgeous, when I talked about her earlier.
Who?
She's a her name is Gigi Gorgeous. That's what I was saying. A male person I know found him very attractive, and they're like, you know, I'm not gay though. I'm like, no, you're not gay. He's an attractive person. She's now a woman and gay, so she is just a straight man now.
Okay.
So she's attracted to women. Is that what I'm not real familiar with what she's attracted to. So I guess he's saying she's a woman, but she's still attracted to women. Well.
Okay. Well, would that mean that she is a male that wants to be like a woman, but who is a lesbian?
Well, yeah, I think that's what he's saying. She's now a very attractive who used to be a man, but she still likes women. So I guess he's saying, what is that? Well, it's still within your mind and what you feel. And I don't know a lot about her. I've seen pictures of her, but to go through all of that, I think she even had her body some to make it all curvy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to I don't know.
I don't know the transgender. Like, I don't know. Does Jenner, is he now like women, or does he like men? I'm not real sure. I'm just saying they have to feel this way in their mind to go through all of that to become a female or a man.
Right,
I know Gigi Gorgeous. I mean, I don't know what she looked like before. But oh my God.
I'm not trying to, you know, how, you know how the mind of someone who is gay, how it works, what it worked like when they were a child, how it worked through their whole life. I don't know, because I'm not gay, and I'm certainly not trying to say that I know how they feel, because I don't. But what I am trying to say is that people that think that these people could be something else, that they could, right. Someone who is gay could be attracted to women, or, you know, a gay man could be attracted to women. They wouldn't go through all this if you have an attraction or whatever, because that's your attraction, you know. I mean, you're going to tell me I love chocolate. You're going to tell me not to like it?
Yes, I am, because it's disgusting.
Well, to you it's disgusting. To me, I'll put chocolate syrup over spaghetti if I could. But I'm just saying that you can't tell me not to like it, because my taste buds like it,
and you can't tell me to like it. Same thing.
Right. Because your taste buds don't like it. Your body makeup, your mind, your taste buds, everything else say, no, I don't like this, but I do like this. And it's the same thing with people that are gay, in my opinion. And my opinion is, from the people I've known and everything else, they have felt this way their whole life. From the time they were a child, they just always knew they were different. And
then you do have the people out there, and this is where a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a choice," because you do have, and it's mostly women. They become with a woman. They're with a woman because they love that person, and yet they're not gay, or they haven't been gay before, but they just fall in love with that woman. And then if the relationship doesn't work out, they go back to men. And they say, oh, they're experimenting, oh, that's a choice. Well, I don't think it's experimenting. I think those people just fall in love with that person.
I think there are also people that are bisexual. They can be attracted to both sexes.
Well,
it still comes down to the mind.
I mean, I'm a little offy on the bisexual, because I know people say it exists, but I go back to believing, and I guess it could happen in the womb, but I so strongly believe that being gay happens in the womb, and you get the female brain in the male body. So I don't know about the bisexual. I don't know, unless something happens. I mean, I don't know how far it goes.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not bisexual, but there's a reason that people would, be attracted enough to have, a relationship with a man, and be attracted to have a relationship with that same person, have a relationship with a woman. I couldn't do that. I can have a relationship with a woman. That's it. I have no interest, So I don't know what you would call it then. I'm just tired of people being judgmental on people for being who they are. That's all. That's my whole feeling on. That's my whole thing is, quit judging.
Is Sasquatch male or female or both? Well, I don't believe in it. So what do you think he is? Since you partly believe, I don't believe in him. So is he male or he looks like a male when they show those pictures?
I don't believe that there's. If there is, I don't believe that there's one Sasquatch. I think there's male and female. They have to reproduce.
Yeah, I think you've shown
that. They don't have an immaculate conception of Sasquatch.
Him. He's always got his arms swung toward the camera. He got that staggered look. It's the same picture as he. He doesn't exist.
No, you keep referring to the. I believe it's the Patterson film back in the 60s. That that's the clearest image. But this guy, like I said,
other images I looked up once, and they were a bunch of. They're taking pictures of gorillas and want us to believe it could be.
But how do you explain if they're taking pictures of gorillas, if they're taking pictures of gorillas where no gorillas exist in that area?
That's what the cameraman says. We don't know where he's at. We just know where he says he's at.
Okay. But that comes down to, do we believe anything that anybody makes it?
Well, sure, if they can show us some proof. But you just send me a picture of a gorilla for 60 years, and, with all our technology, we can't capture this thing? Come on. We could capture him.
Well, here's the thing. Most people don't realize how many hundreds of thousands of acres are uninhabited in this country.
I know.
I mean, when you fly over this country, which I've flown over it numerous times, you'll see how, majority of this country isn't populated.
But they're spotting him. They basically know where he hangs out. That's how they're getting all these pictures, right? So they can't take a group of people there and their technology and a big trap and catch him.
Well, they're trying. I mean, they're trying. They've set up, some of these people have set up things like these. I forget what you call them. The cams and the like hunters use and stuff, where they hook the cams onto the trees and it takes pictures and stuff, like when something goes in front of it. I mean, they have technology that they're working on. I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen one, and so I don't know. But it's like the UFO. It's like the whole UFO thing.
You kind of go toward it, though.
I kind of go towards things. It's like the UFOs. When you have so many people, and you have very reputable people that have seen things that they can't explain. I mean, maybe there is an explanation for it, but I'm always fascinated to listen and to learn and to see what these people find out. I'm the type of person that if I was out hiking somewhere and I saw something, in the Pacific Northwest where I know gorillas don't, roam around for it, and I saw something that looked like, 8 feet tall, covered in hair, and I know I saw it, and I know it wasn't a gorilla, then I'm gonna start, I'm gonna believe. But right now, it's just like I don't know, But I'm fascinated to watch documentaries, listen to people once in a while come on a radio show that I listen to, and you hear people's stories, and you hear things that they don't know what it is, there's a lot of things out there that we just can't explain, and we think like we know everything. I mean, come on, back thousands of years ago, they thought when there was an eclipse that the gods were angry, and they were taking away the sun, and then suddenly as science comes along, we realize
the eclipse is real. You can see the eclipse. It happens.
Well, but there are people that see these things. Do they have, they're in the dense forest and things like that. According to this guy who did this film recently, they know, I mean, this is their habitat. They know how to evade people. I don't know. I mean, he has on this documentary, he has a thing where he's walking out in the woods at nighttime. He's using a night vision type, at night. It's in the snow. He's in probably the snow comes up to about his knees, and he's focusing. Now in the documentary, I think he's narrating it after the footage, and he's pointing the camera at this. I guess it's sort of like a tree. Maybe there's a rock or a bush there or something like that. And then when you start looking at it, you see that there's, of course, this is pitch black, so he's using just a night camera, and you see this silhouette of a shoulder and an arm coming down. And the next day he goes back in the daytime, and he goes back to where he saw that silhouette standing there, and he's trying to stick his arm up. He's filming the exact same angle and everything of where he took that picture, and to show the size. And I think he said he was 5'11" or 6 feet tall, and he's sticking his arm up as high as he can, and his arm still wasn't as high as this silhouette you see in the middle of the forest.
Photoshop.
Well, but I mean, if we're gonna do everything to Photoshop, which I believe, yeah, there's a lot of things Photoshop, but if we're gonna say everything is Photoshop, then we're not going to believe anything.
No,
okay.
That's not true. If after 50, 60 years, someone can capture this big thing, or get close enough to see that he has a family, to see where he lives and stays and eats, and you can't do that in 50 years.
That's their whole thing, and most researchers and everything will agree, until they have a body, nobody's going to believe it. They want a body. They want, or skeletal remains or something like that. Until they have a body, nobody's going to believe it. And science does not. You cannot prove science with a photograph or a sound. You're in the woods and you hear these sounds that you've never heard, that people have never heard before, or you have a photograph, this great video of, let's say, a Bigfoot. Scientific evidence doesn't say we have science doesn't say we have scientific evidence. They have to have DNA. They have to have physical, proof. DNA would, substantiate that, oh, this has, a different DNA than us, so therefore it's an unidentified species. But just a picture or a sound, science doesn't recognize it.
Well, 50 years ago, that picture was kind of something like, oh, that big beast. And yet we cannot go any further in 50 years other than some sort of picture again. Not even, a clear video. No, it has to be the same picture, gorilla's head. I looked it up once, and some of these, I'm sorry, they were gorilla heads. They would look just like gorillas. And so what I'm saying is 50 years ago, that picture of so-called Bigfoot, that was like, oh, wow, does this exist? Wow. But now, again, 50 years later, with all the technology, the advanced camera, videos, everything. I'm sure there's scientists that can set stuff out in these woods and track every little bug out there, right? But they can't do anything more than just show you that picture again of this gorilla type.
Well, if you have thousands,
not that we don't believe people. It's you can't believe someone that can't give you anything that's up to 2018. We're in 2018, and all you can show me is a picture in the distance.
Oh, but if you know what, they had the Patterson film, which was that was like a little video, and nobody believes that. Oh, that's a man in a gorilla costume. Yet they did a documentary where they did all this research. They broke it down. This one guy analyzed. He got the original video from, I think, the guy's wife, and he did this whole computer thing where he takes a picture on the computer of every frame of that film, and then they send it off to a lab, and they analyze anatomy, how the muscles flexed, and everything in this thing. And they said, in their opinion, a costume, when they showed it in this, when they analyzed the film and digitally analyzed it, it was showing, the muscles flexing and everything else. They said it wouldn't do that in a costume. But you know what? People still, they don't believe it. Why?
About that film?
They don't. No, but they don't believe it because they don't have a body and they don't have.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do. Okay, the difference in that is they have the film and they have the dead president who was shot in the head. There you go. So they have a body. Are we talking about the Kennedy Zapruder film?
No, I'm talking about the Patterson Bigfoot film.
I thought, you said Zapruder film.
Oh, did I? No, I'm sorry. I meant the no, it's Patterson film. No, I'm talking about. Well, come on, and there you go. There's another comparison. You show JFK being shot, with his head going back, the back of his head the back of his head being blown. Wait, the back of his head being blown out, right? But they're saying, oh, he was shot from the back. But see, so people don't believe it.
Talking about whether we believe the film or not. I'm not talking about the conspiracy of whether he was shot this way or that way or from there or there. I'm just talking about, the film. I thought we were talking about the film. Yeah, we got the film and we got a dead president. So that film probably is right. With the film you're talking about, Bigfoot, I'm not even aware of it. So we have a film of Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm. Back in the 60s.
Back in the 60s. Well, of course we do. But nobody has... But all the technology now, we can't get nothing except a faraway picture of a gorilla.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not saying
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen one yet. I mean, I live in the city. I wish if there is one, I wish he.
Well, and you don't think Bigfoot ever comes into the city?
Well, sometimes he might need to get his hair done. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might.
People are taking pictures of a gorilla.
Okay, but there aren't like all these sightings in the Pacific Northwest. Gorillas that they don't live in the Pacific Northwest. They don't live in the Appalachian Mountains.
We just know what these people are telling you. Oh, look, I'm somewhere where
okay.
And gorillas don't exist. How do we know they were there?
Okay, let's say it's a gorilla. Okay? It's a gorilla. We got a bunch of gorillas running around, right? How come nobody's gotten a gorilla? How come nobody's been able to capture a gorilla?
Because these people aren't there. They're just these people want you to believe it's Bigfoot, so they're not going to capture a gorilla. That's what it's all about. It's like, looky, Bigfoot. Really, they know it's a gorilla.
Well, people who have,
again, if there was a Bigfoot type animal anywhere, and they're able to get pictures of him, you don't think that the scientists and people who have so much technology could catch it?
I don't know. Because I don't think, first of all, I don't think the scientific community accepts it. There are species. I watched something years ago, and I don't remember the country. I don't want to sound like I'm putting this information out and don't know what I'm talking about, at the same time. But there was a documentary one time, and I forgot what country it was. And they went into these up into these mountains. They went into these caves that nobody had been in, and they found I remember it was some type of a small animal. This was years ago. They didn't know that this animal even existed. They had never seen this before because it lived in this place where people had never been. They didn't know. Or they go down in the ocean. When they saw a film one time when they went down the deepest they'd ever been in the ocean, and they saw sea life that they didn't even know existed. And they saw these beautiful plant life with gorgeous colors down so deep where it was pitch black. And they're like, how do they get all this color? There's no sunlight. It's pitch black this deep down there. They don't know how, because guess what? It was all of a sudden something they discovered that they had never seen before. And science is like, unless we see it, unless we've got... But see, science is not science. I don't think a lot of science is saying, we're going to put tons of money into this research project and find out if there's a Bigfoot or not. Most of these people are individual people or individual groups of people wanting to know if there is, something like a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch.
There might not be a big group of scientific people, but there's got to be some.
Well, there is, like in this film, there's a man who, he's a professor at a university, and, he's collected footprints over the years. He has, I don't know how many lots. He has all these file cabinets with all these different, plaster casts of footprints they found. He's been researching it for years, and he's, so... But I'm just saying, I don't know how much money, you're going to have a group of scientists.
Team Clearstream said that we don't have the technology to go back to the moon. Yes, we do. We just don't okay it.
Well, we don't do anything. We're not doing anything with NASA. We're not going anywhere anymore.
We have the technology. Government doesn't want us to.
We want to go to Mars, which is a dead planet. Come on. Yeah, let's go to the moon. Let's go to the dark side of the moon and see what's on there. That can be another, because
all the planets are dark. No living people on them. No living life on them.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. There are photographs of structures on the moon. We didn't make those structures.
What kind of structures?
There are structures that are, they've got pictures of structures that they have some structures that are a mile and 2 high. They have structures that have, they're not, they couldn't be made naturally with the formations. They have right angles. They have square features to them. I don't know why we haven't gone back.
So we have the structures, but we have no life form that built the structures. It's always, always something other than life form. Where's the life form at?
Well, and like you and I were talking about, one scientists now are discovering thousands. They're saying thousands of Earth-like planets. They believe there are many planets in this universe that there are grains of sand on the Earth, billions of them. We used to just think, oh, there was the planets right in our own solar system, Uranus, Venus, Pluto, Mars. I don't know. Now they're discovering there are possibly billions of planets, and all of these, and now they're discovering, planets, that can have vegetation and things like that. We don't. What do they? I always say, what are they for? And it would take us hundreds of years to get to some of them, going, thousands of miles an hour. It's like, well, what are they out there for?
Right.
I don't know. Like even the Pope said, that's an awful lot of wasted space out there. I mean, it's. I don't know. I don't know what's out there.
There's a lot of questions we can't answer, but I mean.
Exactly, which takes us back to Bigfoot. Because there's a lot of things we can't answer because we.
I've answered that for you, though.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess that's been settled, right?
Well, no one can show me, newer footage of this Bigfoot, or get close enough to him, or even capture him. Come on.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That is the way that we think, and I understand that because people want concrete evidence. They want a Bigfoot laying on a slab where scientists are saying, can come out on the news and say, we found a creature that is not a gorilla, he's not human, we don't know what it is.
Because
he was captured and discovered, and here's the photo.
We could capture him.
Maybe we can't.
I mean, he never comes toward anybody. He never charges anybody. He just swings his arm and looks at you. Or one, I seen a gorilla. It was supposed to be Bigfoot. He was peeking around a tree. Another one was hanging from a tree. I'm like, oh, what is that? It's called a gorilla.
Well, I mean, yeah. Not according to a lot of people. Thousands of people have had eyewitness sightings.
The same people that will show you they took a picture of a flying saucer. Okay, and it's a glorified frisbee.
Okay, sure. There's a lot of stuff that people have faked videos. There's also a lot of videos. It's like the researchers will say 95% of it it's usually weather anomaly or somebody's doctored the photos, but there's that 5% that they cannot explain, and that's what they want to know. 5%. When you have all of these, military ex-generals and everything else talking about how, sat in front of a Senate committee and talked about how their nuclear missile things were all shut down. That had to individually, these people had seen these orbs over the base, and then all of a sudden, all of their nuclear missiles got shut down. Couldn't explain it. Very complicated process. And then once these orbs left, all of a sudden everything came back up online.
these orbs that can come to us, but we can't go to them. And they not only can come to us, they have the technology to shut down our military.
Well, I'm going to say this again. Probably talked about it because I love talking about this stuff because it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me because it's unexplained. I mean, that's what a UFO is, unidentified. It doesn't always mean it's a flying saucer. It doesn't mean it's from another.
What in your urine too? But I mean, it's unexplained. It's unexplained because people are lying. That's why
you have a whole bunch. You have a whole bunch of ex-military, high military officials. They're just going to get up there for what? What are they going to gain out of it? Pilots who have seen things in different countries couldn't talk about it because they knew if they did, the airline would fire them. Now some of them are talking about it and talking about their experience because they're no longer, they're retired and things like that. They couldn't talk about it before.
Well, if they were telling the truth, what they saw is the military, and the military hides a lot. So they saw things the military was putting on, and that's what they saw.
I don't know. I don't know what they saw. That's what fascinates me about it. I like to listen to people.
It doesn't fascinate you, though. Wait, it doesn't fascinate you that another life form can come to us where we can't come to them. And then when they do, they just hover over somewhere and then fly away.
Well, I don't know
that doesn't fascinate you?
It fascinates me. I have no idea if something like that, like I said, I'm not saying I believe, I'm just repeating things that I watch because I enjoy watching documentaries. I enjoy listening to researchers on a radio program I listen to, all those type of things. I enjoy that. But as far as
my brother was abducted by an alien, and he was beamed up. He was like in his early 20s, and he was driving home from work, and he pulled over, and he saw this spaceship, and he was beamed up, and then they took him up in the spaceship. He doesn't remember anything other than that, and then they just let him go. My brother, about 50 years ago.
Right. Well, do
you believe that?
There's thousands of stories like that. Thousands of them. Unless you listen to this stuff and hear people, most people think, oh, somebody saw a flying. They were out drinking too much and
alcohol and drugs. That's what that's called.
But as far as they can come to us, but we can't come to them. And I might have repeated this in another pod. I'll probably repeat a lot of stuff I've repeated in another podcast. But I believe humans have been on this earth about 300,000 years. I don't remember how old the planet is, how many billion years old. Now, let's say there's another planet out there that supports life, an Earth-like planet with vegetation, water, or whatever somebody needs to sustain some type of life. Now, let's say that planet happens to be 1 billion years older than this, and whatever is on that planet has been here 1 million years longer than 5 million years longer.
Okay.
Now let's take a look at the technology that we have gained in 500 years. We went from, nothing to being able to, do incredible things in space, incredible things in medicine, to, think about if Christopher Columbus, if you'd told him, well, you just take this thing and hold it in your phone and watch movies, and he'd be like, what's a movie? Well, you can talk to your friend on the other side of the world. He'd be like, you're crazy. Now you take that technology and you multiply it 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times. Like I said, like we've talked about before, the next big thing, like the internet or something like that, hasn't been invented yet. So you can't say, well, one day we'll be able to travel this fast and we'll be able to go thousands of light years away this quick, but we haven't invented the technology yet. But if some civilization is, 1 million years ahead of us, shouldn't be any problem. I mean, what the technology we've gained in 200 years.
Back to the 1800s. It's possible these alien life forms are so ahead of us that they can get to us, so we can't get to them.
Of course.
Okay, but again, why do they just hover and take off? Hover.
Well, I'm not an alien. I can't tell you that. I only tell you what I hear people talk about.
They just,
I don't know, and you'll hear most researchers say they don't know either. They don't know why. They'll talk to them. They haven't, they haven't come down to visit and have lunch and things like that. They don't know why. But there's been so many very reputable see things that, and yeah, some of it, a lot of people believe, researchers believe, is our military. There are people that have, seen these triangular objects that are, they have the width of a football field or 3 football fields. They make no sound at all. As far as we know, we have nothing like that. You have a gigantic craft like that, the size of an aircraft carrier, and it just floats up there and moves about with no sound. Maybe the military does have, secret technology like that.
Not only the aircraft, they have about them big lights, Phoenix, and the things that flew alongside the pilots in the air.
Right.
They have all kinds of stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, this is what people see.
They're really cool. Yeah.
What people see. Look at the Phoenix lights. How many thousands of people saw those?
Right, they saw them. It's a military.
It might have been a secret thing. They don't know. But I'm saying that, we can't say nothing exists because we haven't seen it. I mean, there are people that just believe, and you can say, well, they're crazy. But, that's like saying, well, you know what? I have faith that that Jesus walked this earth. I don't have any video of it. I've got, things that have been written. Now, how do I know somebody just didn't write that stuff? I don't have a photograph. I don't have any video. Jesus isn't on YouTube. Huh?
The Bible says you have to go on faith.
Exactly. My point exactly. You have to go on faith. You have to have your own beliefs. But I don't.
Things are hovering around for 60 years, and nobody can say anything except, oh, they hovered. Oh, they took off. Oh, there's some lights. What are they?
Well, maybe we're just like, this thing. I mean, if we went to a desolate area and we saw all these little, ants running around, right? And we might look at them and we might, say, or we might experiment or do some experiments or something like that. We're it's just a bunch of ants. Maybe to us, we're some planet that they like to see. They like to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't talked to them yet. And like I said, I've never seen it. I've never seen anything, like what a lot of these people describe. But there are thousands, if not millions, of people who have, and they all can't be crazy. They're all seeing something. You have police officers. You have a former president of the United States, Jimmy Carter. You have Ronald Reagan. Him and Nancy Reagan saw something they couldn't explain.
Oh, I'm not saying people don't see things. Absolutely.
Right.
But the question is what? Like we could go to the Area 51. That's a military base. But at one time it was like, oh, that should, you go there, you'll disappear.
Well, Area 51 up to a few years ago according to the military, it didn't exist.
What about the Bermuda Triangle? Oh, you fly into that.
Right.
Comes out.
Well, it's one of those things that they don't understand. But it doesn't mean that they're I guess it comes.
Isn't it on the ocean? Because I could see that. It might be some kind of big like a whirlpool type of thing in that area of the ocean. Seriously, and it just sucks a plane down or something like that.
Well, a lot of people believe there's certain magnetic fields in the Bermuda Triangle that distort instruments and things like that can cause like aircraft and boats where they can't navigate. That's one of the theories, that certain area, there's certain magnetic fields in there that causes, disruptions in the instruments and things like that. But, I've watched some documentaries on it, but I haven't seen anything about it in a long time. But there's been planes and ships, in that area that have never been found, and that doesn't mean that they're not down there in the ocean. There's a lot of stuff that they don't find in the ocean. But, it's just one of those things that they don't have scientific proof, and most people want absolute scientific evidence before they will believe something. And yeah, a lot of people aren't going to believe that there's, other craft from another solar system or whatever, unless it comes down, lands somewhere, the news is there, and they see some type of creature or, come out of it and realize that's not a human being, that's not the planet. And, and because even if the military said, well, that's not ours, we don't have that technology, then you're always going to have the people that say, oh, the military's not going to tell you if they do. We're not going to believe that. The military says, that's not us, we don't have that technology. Well, they're not going to tell you, it's a secret. We do have that technology. So I don't know what it would take to, like a lot of people say, it would take a whole fleet of, unidentified craft flying over a city in broad daylight with thousands or millions of people to watch it and videotape it, for a lot of people, to believe it. But, there's film footage, not footage, there's photographs from like the 60s stuff before you had Photoshop of jet fighters with, disc-shaped object in the picture. There's a lot of photos that were taken long before photos. But is it from another planet? Is it from, some other country that has technology 100 years or 200 years ahead of what they're telling us? I have no idea. But I love to listen. I love to listen and hear the stories and hear the information. I think it's fascinating because I don't think we're supposed to know everything. Well, I don't think we're supposed to know everything. It's like for some reason, a lot of people think, we have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. Like I say, go back hundreds of years or thousands of years, and they believe that, this and that. And then all of a sudden, come on, the world was flat until we realized that it wasn't.
Look at some of the, I don't know if you call them pyramids, but I will. I don't know what to call them. But some of the pyramids that were built so long ago, and they say some of them, there's like a sighting or something on top where you could only see from an aircraft.
Right. Oh yeah, sure. There's I forget what country it may be. Yeah, it was actually a woman. I believe it was a woman pilot who discovered it, who was flying over this region, years and years ago, and saw these different figures outlined in the. These things are like a mile long or whatever. You can only see these things from thousands or hundreds of feet in the air because they're so big. And one of them is of a person waving, like they're waving to someone up above.
But I've read about it years ago, but they never showed any pictures.
Oh no, there's pictures. You can look online and there's pictures. But yeah, one of them is very clearly. It's almost like a little kid would draw a picture of a person, with their hand up, like the Pillsbury Doughboy or something, with his hand up, like he's waving to someone up above. And you can look at the Great Pyramids, and you know, that's a mystery. You know, one of the seven wonders of the world, because there's so much controversy of how those stones got put there. I mean, a lot of those stones are over 6 tons each.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's fascinating how, you know, so much over in the desert, you know, Egypt, that some of those things were built, you know, without machinery. That's amazing.
Well, if you look at some of the monolith stuff in some of these countries, you know, in one country, they're still unearthing it. It's a whole huge complex of these statues and everything else that have been buried. And it was not buried by man. In other words, I mean, it wasn't buried by nature like a giant flood. I mean, they have ways of knowing that. This was accidentally discovered, and they are still unearthing this thing. And it's like a whole huge complex of these giant statues and everything that someone thousands of years ago intentionally buried. And then you have these structures that, when they show them, the joints are so tight, you say you can't even put a piece of paper between them. They are cut absolutely perfect. There's no mortar or anything holding these things together. They fit so perfectly together. They didn't have the tools for doing that then.
Oh, they did?
Huh?
No, they didn't.
No, and so that's another one. And some of these, I mean, you know, even something like Stonehenge, trying to get those stones that are tons and tons up on top of those other stones, and they have found that those stones back in that time that type of stones did not exist.
John says giants, they found bones of people 10 to 18 inches tall.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
So maybe those tall people built them. Yeah, I never heard that.
Well, a lot of people believe that there were giants back in the biblical days, and one of the reasons that
they're 18 feet tall,
that God flooded the earth was to get rid of all of the, you know, the giants and everything else, and to wipe it out.
What the Bible says. I guess it's all what you believe. You know.
No, I've heard about the you know, that they have found skeletal structures.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they found these skeletal remains, and the ones that are so big will all have double rows of teeth.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of this stuff that we don't. Unfortunately, you know, now anything that happens now, hundreds of years from now, there'll be some type of video of. But then, you know, we can only go by, you know, bones or theories or, you know, drawings on the wall, things like that. You know, they've found on etchings on cave walls from thousands of years ago that things that looks like flying saucers. These are like, you know, nobody knew what anything was in the air, but they found these etchings on cave walls. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff we don't understand.
Yeah.
So we're gonna anyway, all those different subjects. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. And so,
thanks for any input. Anytime during the week, you can go onto our podcast and put an input, a question, just a thought, anytime during the week. And we'd like your input next Monday, 6 o'clock.
And remember, we're not saying we're right about anything.
No.
A couple people that like to talk.
We just give our thoughts.
And we get passionate about things. So.
Yeah, it's just our thoughts. And we welcome, you know, your thoughts and your input.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we hope you join us next week, and you have a great week. And we'll see you next week.